Hello and welcome back to another video on the Focus ST Edition. And this time I kind of wanted to run through all the options on this car because it kind of gives you an idea of what is available on the Mark IV Fiesta, whichever trim level you're going for. So if you're ticking options boxes or anything like that, you can kind of see what it is that you're meant to be getting. So first up, let's make a start on the interior. Right, in the interior we got a whole host of creature comforts. I mean, first up we've got these Recaro seats which are electrified. Woo! Then in the middle here you've got your heated seats, which, you know, kind of pretty good. I mean, they do sort of like all the way up the back, which is quite nice. This car has also got a heated steering wheel. Now in my Mark 8 Fiesta, weirdly the heated steering wheel wasn't heated at the top, but this one seems to be heated the entire way around, which is pretty cool. So maybe I had a bit of a fault with mine. The party piece of the interior is of course Sync 3. This hasn't really changed since 2015, 2016 time, but actually that doesn't matter because it's quite good. The screen resolution is very clear and it does everything you need to. Nav, audio, all that kind of stuff. And that leads me nicely on to the B&O system. Now, in the Focus, weirdly, you don't get a B&O badge on the doors, and it looks like there should be one, but there definitely is one in the centre of the dash. So yeah, it is a B&O. And in the boot, you also get the amp and the sub underneath the floor, and yeah, it's all nicely hidden away. Now, as stock, I think that the B&O kind of lacks a little bit in the sort of the bass and the treble department. Mids are pretty good, but you can actually change that on the thing, and then it sounds great. So yeah. B&O is an awesome option to tick. You can have it really loud, no distortion, nice bass, like, yeah, it's a well-rounded system. Onto driving, we've got this sort of swanky dash thing that's just now a screen, which seems to be the way that everyone is going. In terms of using it, I don't think it really adds much value to the driving experience, to be honest. I think the biggest value is the fact that they can change it to be whatever you like. So when you're switching between drive modes, for example, the whole cluster changes, which is quite cool because it's a bit more immersive. But the downside of the driving changes is that the whole dash goes pretty much blank for maybe a second or two, which for the first time is pretty disconcerting when your dials just turn off. But I guess once you get used to the length of time it takes to change between screens, then you're kind of all right. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. You'll also find two USB sockets in the front for both driver and passenger, and also somewhere to securely store your phone. The head-up display is probably one of my favourite options, as it means you can continually monitor your speed and the speed that you're meant to be doing without having to look down. The resolution was also super clear, which was great to see. Now, if we move on to the front of the car, we'll start with the headlights. Now, as per pretty much standard now, these are LED. They're not the brightest on the market, I must admit. So if you compare it next to our Mini, for example, yeah, the Mini kind of trumps them. But they do have this cool feature where they sort of like box the car in front. So you can have high beams on all the time, but without actually dazzling anyone. Now, in my experience, they do work quite well, but they are perhaps a little bit slow to keep up with sort of real world scenarios. And I did find myself getting flashed a few times, and I could actually see the headlights trying to work out where that car was, but in actual fact it was just blinding them. But I'd say 90% of the time that they are actually pretty good. If you move further down the bumper to here, you've got some pretty well hidden like front parking sensors. Now I know this isn't new tech, but it's actually the first car I've driven and actually found them really useful. So they automatically come on, you don't have to turn them on. And when I was in London the other day, I found myself sort of like squeezing through cars and traffic and stuff, and they'd automatically come on and help me through those little narrow gaps. So actually, as an underrated feature, I would recommend front parking sensors. They're great. And lastly on the front is this little blanking plate down here. Again, really subtle, but what that does is measures what's in front of the car. It enables the functionality that shouts at you if it thinks you're going to crash, and to be honest, I'm pretty sure that's legislation and they have to have it, but either way, it's really annoying because it goes off all the time. But that's not the only reason behind this. It also enables your adaptive cruise control. So if you're set at say 70 and you approach a car that's doing 50, the car will automatically sense that, slow down, match their speed, and you can even choose how far away you'd like to be from that car in front. Now, I know this isn't new tech, but every time I use it, I still think it's really cool. Around the back here, well, there isn't really much to report, apart from perhaps the reversing camera. Now, as you can probably see, the quality on the reversing camera is really quite good, and I think that's mainly due to the Sync 3 screen being such high resolution, but either way, thumbs up for the reversing camera. And apart from the quick clear windscreen, which I used this morning, which is absolutely fantastic and has been for years, I actually think that's pretty much all of the functional features you can get on Fords nowadays. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that some of them are in fact missing, like blind spot assist, for example. I had that on my Fiesta, and I have a horrible feeling that that is due to the chip shortage that we currently have ongoing. So yeah, the features it does have are pretty cool, but unfortunately, I think we might see more and more cars like this and having their features stripped back and a bit more limited. But it's not all doom and gloom, as I'm pretty sure the chip shortage won't last forever, and I can go back to doing options reviews that are seemingly endless, because that was actually quite a good time and I think we took it for granted. But anyway, I'm waffling. So I think we'll leave it there. And if you want to see like a full review of the Focus ST Edition and how it drives and stuff, I'll put a link up to that video up there. And yeah, if you want to see more of me, car content and that kind of stuff, then click this bubble over here. And if you want to see another video, then here's a link over here. And I'll catch you in the next one.